Okay, this is my veg oil system for filtering. So the first thing I do is I save up 55 gallons worth of oil, or close to, and all at once I pour through a 200 micron strainer that I then immediately go and hose out when I'm done and remove from my system. Right in here is close to 55 gallons, so it's ready to go. Once done, I built this nifty little contraption to set on top of, which is just 2x4s and thin sheet of wood. And the goal is to keep particles from falling in there. However, to give vent so that when I turn on this barrel heater down here, it will allow the water to heat up and hopefully evaporate off and not get trapped inside there. So you know, there's to just keep a regular type plastic lid on, such as one of these, but then you can see the water beating up on top. So something like this, I might make something better later, but it seems to work. Keeps things from falling in there and allows water out. I put all my pumps on switches and my heat on switches, so heat 1 is actually going right now. I then crank up heat 1, which is this heater down here, and it heats up to about 160, 170 degrees. I don't have my thermometers in yet. I will update that later. But the quick gist of what I'm doing is I get these meat thermometers like this, and I'm going to drill a small hole in here, and then probably another one down here, and then seal it up with some compound, and that will make it so that it will not leak. I'm going to use Loctite, epoxy, metal, and concrete. This stuff is good up to 302 degrees, so that should, it's not coming out, but that should keep it sealed up, and that will tell me temperature at the bottom and temperature at the top, because it will vary based on temperature at the top is good. Then we know. This is my dog Haya. He loves in here because now it tastes like veg oil everywhere. Say hi. And so then once I get it heated up, I heat it up for about 4 or 5 hours, and this is my heat and settle process. So the goal of heating it is it turns to very good liquid. Hopefully some of the water evaporates out. But it separates up all the particles. The heavy stuff will fall down to the bottom, which is why I have these two different ports. And I will then, this one on the bottom is just for draining out the trash on the bottom, but I always work from the one that's about 6 to 8, oh, probably like 8 inches up. So hopefully all the junk stays on here. Every so often, I'm not sure yet, I will empty out the bottom. And that's that. So this is stage 1, gets it to 200 microns, hopefully settles out all the big stuff. I let it sit in here for about a week. Once it's done with a week, which is actually where I'm at now, I then will use this pump, which is considered pump 1. And what I do is I have this plastic lid that I got for this barrel. I take it off and set it wherever. And then up top, when this one pump goes on, pumps down through this pump, which then comes back up, down, goes down through the floor, then comes back up here, goes across. I put 2 valves on here for filtering, and I can turn them on and off. I have these 4 pipes up here, so I take them off and I pop them in. And what this does is it guides the oil directly into each one of my filter bags. And just a second, I'm almost done. I'll show you what that looks like. So now I have this filtering set up, this plumbing set up where I can then regulate and pump through these bags. These bags here are the shorter bags. They're about 16 inches long. That's what they look like. And they have 2 bags inside of each other. The inside bag is 10 micron and the outside bag is 5 micron. So as oil goes through here, via gravity, it feeds through these bags and gets the oil to 5 microns. I also put these valves up here. I'm going to add one more. I thought I could just control like the left and right, like these 2 filters are clogging up, and I can turn off this side but still keep pumping to this side. But I'm actually going to put a valve on each one of these up and down rods so that I can control the flow to each one of these bags separately. So these are actually in the on position. Any plumbing, if they're up and down, it's off. This is on. So you actually get to see me now. I'm going to turn on pump 2. Or pump 1, which is this pump down here, and it's going to go up and through these. So here we go, and you'll get to see that go. see the oil coming from these. If I want to turn off this side, I go up here and I turn this, and now it pumps faster to this side. Basically, I can regulate the flow. I turn it back on and try to keep all these bags close to full, which is why I think I need separate valving for each one of them. So you can see these going. Filters are still pretty new, so they're actually emptying out probably as quick as they're actually taking in oil. So that's awesome. And if you can see the level of this barrel, you should be able to see it right here. That's where the fluid is. This tank also has a tank heater. Basically for winter time, this oil will get really thick, and so I put a tank heater on it, which is my heater number 2. And before I go to my final stage, I could heat this oil back up to a temperature that would be good to be used. One thing I know is that with my pump and everything being so, all my filters being so new, this will actually go fairly quickly, and I can actually pump straight from this barrel and keep up and go to my next stage. This is my final stage. It's a canister filter. It has a pressure gauge on top, and it has a hose at the bottom. Whenever I turn on pump 2, the oil goes from here, from this hose, around the back, and into this pump down here, which then pumps it back up into here, forces the oil through a canister, and then out the bottom, and then straight to my actual nozzle. So that's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and keep pumping these. We'll see what happens. If these bags aren't filling up, which doesn't look like they are, I'll go ahead and pump straight into my final stage. So we'll let this keep going for a second. We'll see what happens. See the level of this going higher and higher. So it's pretty neat. Yo, that is pretty cool. I was going to go ahead and pump through this last one. I'll do a second video for that, because actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to let it settle in here maybe for another week or so too. That way, maybe if there's more particles that somehow got through that step, they'll settle on the bottom. Another thing, I have another drain on this one, so I can drain off the bottom, but I pump from the higher one. So this amount right here is basically throwaway, but I won't exactly throw it away. I'll actually take it from here, and I'll put it back into this one, and keep recycling it until eventually it gets to just pure gunk on the bottom. This is all pretty cool. And then my final stage, you'll see later on, but nothing special. I pump from here, and it goes into this barrel. This barrel has the same type things. Pump up. You know, this is the one I'll work off of. This is my trash drain. But I also built this cool see-through gauge so I can see what the actual fuel level is within this barrel without taking this lid off. I then got some extra attachments, things like this, and some valves that I'll have for the next video. So my thought is that I can turn some valves, instead of pumping from this handle, I'll actually pump, if this is starting to get full, and I'll actually go through the wall, and it'll come outside, and then it'll pump into this big 330-gallon container, so I can store off up to 330 gallons plus 55 to 385 gallons at a time. That is pretty much it. This is also my double compost bin, which is pretty sweet. Built that last week, and that's all. Still going. You can see the fuel level now. It's getting up to the bottom of the bag, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to turn it off, and it'll be good. You can see how it's starting to fill up the bags now because there's nowhere for it to drain. Have a good day.